If you believe it, it's already happened. The minute you believe 100%, 100% it's in your life. If you believe you deserve that particular job, it's there. You can literally have them, as long as they're for the highest good, the moment we believe.
Hold these visions, because at the end of the day, we are creating our reality and the mass timelines that get created for us, future timelines.
Once our minds are truly switched on, we can do everything that technology does now. You don't need a plane to take you from here to there. You can take yourself.
Portals to the stars are opening so that we can download the light codes that support this shift.
If you believe you can do something, you do it.
Diana Cooper, welcome back on Just Tap In. You know, I have to ask you this. What are you most excited about right now globally and in your life?
Globally, it's the fact that all the planets are opening, sending us light codes, which are extraordinary. We are busily bringing forward our crystalline light bodies for this great evolutionary step. And in my own life, it is actually the spiritual work I'm doing on myself to move into a completely different energy of total perfect health and rejuvenation. So I've been working really hard, and it's so exciting. There can't be anything more exciting than opening up to the extraordinary energies around us right now. And as you know, we are on the cusp of an evolutionary shift for humanity. There have in the past been 5 golden ages. The first one was when our planet was actually birthed, and that was called Angala, and that was a golden energy that it was birthed into. And then after that, people don't really know much about it. It was the golden age of Africa. And that was a time, it was called Petranium, that's the vibration of the age. It was a time when the people, they weren't fully physicalized, of course, but they were 7th dimensional. And those beings, or many of them, are still walking throughout Africa trying to hold the energy high of that age. And I fervently believe that Africa is going to come up and become golden again very soon. After that was the age of Mu. Now, have you ever seen a pelican? They are still carrying the energy of that time. That was a 4th dimensional golden age, and that was in the Pacific Ocean, and it was in the same area as the following age, which was Lemuria, that everyone's heard of, an age of nature, of incredible love. And again, there are many Lemurians who are incarnated now, bringing that energy of love of nature and the trees and the plants back again. And then, of course, there was Atlantis. Like the others, a 260,000-year golden era, of which only, a cosmic era, of which only 1,500 years was the golden time, when the energy then was the highest it's ever been, when the people were 5th dimensional. They had extraordinary gifts and powers and talents, that we just can't even imagine now. But we are now stepping into the new golden era. And what's happening, and people can start to feel it, is that we have to carry more light. At the moment, our cells can only carry a certain level, a certain frequency of light. Not enough for the beings we're going to become, because we're on our way to becoming crystalline beings. What that means is that every cell has to change so it can carry more light. And the process of it is that the atoms, as the frequency rises, the atoms reorganize themselves, rearrange themselves in sacred geometric patterns within the cells. That means we can access all those gifts, all those powers, those talents, and we bring in a crystalline light body. So our body the cells in our body become crystalline, become arranged according to the sacred geometric structure. And then we can self-heal, we can start attracting really good things into our lives. Everything changes. All these records they're out there for running the fastest and jumping the highest. Oh, everybody will be able to do it. They'll all be broken because we will be much stronger, more flexible, have a completely different energy. And then you have a crystalline heart, and your crystalline heart again means that you can have total divine health, perfect health, and you can rejuvenate. All sorts of things then start to happen when your heart center is in alignment with that high frequency energy. And a crystalline brain, which of course is absolutely fascinating, because that's when our brain will become like a computer. And so we can tune, but the energy for it is pure source energy. So it's not like a computer now, not like the internet now, which is third dimensional. All sorts of stuff goes on it. When you have a crystalline brain, then you're connected into a much higher web of light, and you can access anything as long as your soul agrees. So people aren't interested in the lower frequencies at that level. There's all this amazing and wonderful information out there that they can access for the highest good of all. And then you've also got crystalline eyes, and these are eyes that can see with enlightened eyes. And so these are all developing now, and they can all develop separately, but they have to be switched on together. So one moment you are separately preparing the energies, and then they're all switched on by source simultaneously, and your life starts to change. The energies you hold start to change, and the more people, of course, that do it, the more quickly it will spread.
I was taking a look at your website, and I know that this year is very important when it comes to teaching and activating these crystalline light bodies, eyes, brain, heart, in the grander picture, because I know you've been speaking about in our last conversation around this specific year 2032. Why do you feel this year 2026 is so important to be in activating these crystalline aspects of ourselves?
It's just that it's a 1 year. 2026 equals 1. So we've gone through the cycles of the 9 years, and so this is the start of the new. And this then culminates in 2032, when 2012 was the end of a cosmic era, the end of a 260,000 year cosmic era, the era of Atlantis. And so at that moment, there was a switch on. But it then took 20 years. Now, this is not just for this planet, not just for this universe, for the entire multiverse. So every single place had 20 years to prepare for the big switch on, which of course is then 2012, and 20 is 2032. So that's when it will take place. But like 2012, everybody was thinking, oh, what's going to happen? But actually, it's not anything about something major happening. It's about another step forward. And we will then really start to notice things changing on the planet. Before we came on, I was talking about the percentages of people that were third dimensional. Well, soon after that, there won't be many. There were currently 18%. And people who are third dimensional have their hearts closed. They're self-serving. They're only interested in self, in what happens for them. And then the vast majority have now moved into the fourth dimension. So it was 57% in the fourth dimension. That's when your heart is open. You start to look out at how other people are faring, looking at a much bigger picture. And of course, when you move into the fifth dimension, I think that was 17% in the fifth dimension, that's when your heart is fully open, you're looking out for the highest good of all. After that, you move into the sixth dimension, when for your crystalline light body and crystalline heart, brain and eyes. And at that point, you are looking out for the whole of humanity. So your thoughts, your interests are to serve humanity, and then you move forward to serve the planet and help the planet move forward in the universe. And of course, you start looking out for the whole universe, and possibly beyond that to the multiverse, which is extraordinary. Can I just say something here, which is
Yes.
possibly irrelevant, but to me, it's been extraordinary. I had the most wonderful dog. I know everyone thinks their dog is wonderful, but she really was extraordinary. It was only after she died I discovered she was a cosmic soul. So she disappeared, but she was a cosmic soul. And she came back to me only a few times, but I kept getting messages from her. And the first message I got was that she was going round the multiverse, not just the universe. This is the 12 universes that belong to this section. And she was going round reactivating her connections. After that, it was that she was working beyond the multiverse, can you imagine it, in the bliss energy beyond this multiverse. And she was bringing that energy back into this universe and this planet to help people. And now she's moved on from that job and she's doing something else. But at the same time, she's this extraordinary being which is coming in with messages to me and to other people about the cosmos, the great beyond, where most of us don't even know about or go to. And I was walking down the road with my other dog, who is very old and did not want to walk. And suddenly there's Venus with me saying, I'm going to get some cosmic message. Stop hassling, sugar.
Straight up.
Many, many different levels.
Wow.
And so to me, it was such a reminder that animals are extraordinary. They're not animals as we know it. Oh, some of them are, but they can be the most extraordinary beings. Teachers, bringing in higher light. Amazing.
Hello, beautiful family. Quick one today. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to this channel. Your subscription means more than you know. Even though it's free, what you're doing is you're empowering a whole channel to be able to do this every single day and continue showing up in the way that we can with all of our resources on hand. Thank you for contributing to the growth of this channel, for sharing it with the people that you love, for creating a conscious movement of individuals that are seeking the sovereignty and the divinity of their soul. This is why we're here. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying this content, I invite you now to look below on that little button that says subscribe and welcome you properly to this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and being pure love and radiating that with everyone that you see. Back to the episode. It's interesting because I'm drawing this connection between our heart, how open and how close it is, to the dimensions that we're able to access. And I know that in January, Merlin appeared to you and he told you about the magic of the higher heart. So because we're entering this new dimensional plane and Earth is beginning to access higher dimensions, I wanted to talk about the role of the higher heart and how you've individually seen that this can get opened and activated for many, many people around the world.
Yeah, the time is now. And you can consciously work on clearing the lower heart, because of course there are 33 chambers in the heart chakra. That means 33 lessons. And so you can go through those lessons. I've written about it in books, stuff, all sorts of things. And they're about jealousy and envy and hurt and hanging on to anger and all of that sort of stuff. And you know it yourself, everybody knows it. And when you start to forgive, release, let go, then you've gone through those 30 chambers, the first 30 chambers. Now the 33 chambers are the three chambers, are the higher heart. So you've got 30 chambers in the lower heart and 3 in the higher heart. And so when you're ready and you've cleared out all that stuff, and of course you can ask Archangel Chamuel, the angel of the heart, to help you. You can ask Archangel Zadkiel to clear the energies with the violet flame, and all of that will make a difference. And all you have to do is ask and hold the intention, and you will have the guidance about what to do. And then you reach the higher heart, and now you can start to ask Mary, the great angel Mary, to help you. You can ask Archangel Chamuel, angel of love, and you can connect into Venus, which is the cosmic heart, and ask that the energies from there come in and help you. Then at a higher level again, the very final chamber, you ask to connect to Andromeda, and that is the higher heart of the universe and has the light codes of higher love. When you start to connect into all of those energies, your heart opens. You start to look to see how you can help people. If you can send healing to that old man that's walking past, an ambulance comes past, and you automatically ask the angels of love and healing to go to whoever in it to help them. Your thoughts are constantly on how to help humanity move forward. And then your higher heart is open. You radiate a totally different energy because, of course, you're radiating love and peace and joy and all those higher energies. You automatically find at that point that your presence raises the frequency wherever you are. You might find that people stop arguing because you are sending out oil onto troubled waters. And wherever you go, you are tuning into the trees, the flowers, into the whole of nature and helping that to open up. Whenever I go for a walk, which is all the time, and I see a tree, I automatically ask that tree what it wants, what it needs. And very often I can sense that it needs Mother Mary's energy or something like that. And recently I've been finding that the trees have been asking for sunshine yellow. And I said, well, what's this about? Why are you asking for that? And he said, it brings hope. So I said to my guide, but trees don't have emotions. He said, no, it's about the atmosphere around them. And then when the atmosphere is sunshiny, they feel much better. It means that we've been having a lot of floods in England. It means that their roots can feel stronger. They've got more determination. And the other day, I was just walking down the road and I'd asked these trees what they wanted and they didn't respond. So I didn't think anything more about it. And suddenly I saw this amazing royal blue colour coming right down over the whole clump of trees. And I thought, well, what is that about? And they said, or my guide said, what happened was that they didn't reply to you, but the fact that you'd asked them, this is so important, we can all help, the fact that you'd asked them meant that they could call in the energy themselves And they brought in that royal blue to give them the dignity, the desire to be strong enough to withstand the floods and all that had happened to them. And those trees are stronger as a result of it. So when your higher heart is open, your life opens up. Everything changes because you're in contact with nature. You're communicating with people. You're telepathically communicating with animals. You are part of the oneness. And your whole life is more full of joy, happiness, good health, everything.
I can speak to the changes that happen in our life when our heart begins to open. I used to have a very closed heart a few years ago, and now there's this almost like a mission, planetary mission of service that has activated because my heart just wants to give. And I know that the heart is such a central piece to this golden future that you've been talking about, prophesizing about. And your spiritual guide, Kumeka, asked you that the task right now is to hold the divine vision. And so really I wanted to take a large piece of this transmission to hold that divine vision of the golden future together, what you've received, what you've seen, what you've tuned into. I have here the whole transmission of the golden future here with me, and just reading through like a lot of the chapters, it's very practical because you talk about, you know, life in the new golden age around education, family life, home life, health and healing centers, living in golden communities. So I just wanted to take this time to really lay out what life is going to be like in the golden future, so we hold that vision and start building it from the inside out.
Right. Now, the golden future, it starts immediately. We can be there now. But by 2050, everything will have changed. The whole structure, all these, mainly politicians, but dark beings that are holding our world in thrall, they will have gone. They will have moved on, and they will have moved to another third dimensional planet where they can carry on having their dramas. And so you won't have any of that energy holding the world back. You'll have every single person wanting to do what's for the highest good. Can you imagine that? So not only that, on a community level where everybody is working together for the highest good. Now, if they have to take a decision, instead of everybody going in and saying, this is what I want, this is what I want, they go in and they meet up heart to heart. It's all about the heart again, saying, let it help us to come to a decision that is for the highest good of all. So everybody lets go of their ego desires and just says what is for the highest good. And because of that, because they're tuned in heart to heart, they come to an immediate, quick decision. And everybody knows that's for the highest good. So everybody is very happy to implement it. So decisions become very easy and are always for the best, for the community, for the family, for the country, for the world. And so everything then starts to move on to a different level. Then you take health. When we're moving into our crystalline light bodies and hearts and brains and eyes, and so of course we've got much higher frequency. Everybody is much stronger, more easier. You don't go into old age like people expect now, because you maintain your health. You've got the crystalline energies in your cells, so you don't have to deteriorate like now. You maintain health, happiness, joy, doing whatever is right. The communities, of course, are different, because the current feeling is, oh, they're playing football over there, but they wouldn't want me, or I'm not good enough. That is part of the current consciousness on this planet. They could be a concert and you don't feel you're good enough to join in. That's very much part of what is going on and has been going on for years. With the new energies, you automatically feel belonging, wanted and good enough. And the people there, they want you to join in because you're one, you're connected. And so everybody goes out feeling belonging. If you feel belonging, do you drop litter? No. Do you break a bottle? No. If you feel belonging, then you serve everybody and you feel part of it. And that is a huge shift. And of course, that's another heart shift. I don't know if I mentioned my litter story last time. A friend of mine was in a beauty spot and there was all this litter around, and she was thinking all sorts of judgmental thoughts about the people that went into a beauty spot and dropped litter. And then this voice from nowhere said, "And what about the psychic litter you're leaving with your judgmental thoughts?"
Psychic litter. Wow.
Yeah. When she told me that story, do you know, it literally changed my life, I think, because I kept thinking, am I leaving psychic litter? I stopped judging everything because those people, you only drop litter if you don't feel belonging, if you have no self-esteem. And so if I see litter now, I just ask a blessing to go of self-esteem and belonging to whoever dropped it. And that shifts the energy, it raises it. And of course it helps your heart to open, because if you're being judgmental, then your heart is closed at that moment. And so there are so many things, that's just one example, but there are so many things like that that shifted with that single awareness. And so there won't be any judgment and none of that judgmental energy going around. There will be new technology, of course, and the new technology will be about bringing in things that are for the highest good. Food that is optimum, organic, is full of nutrition and energy, is created and grown with love by people who want to grow food, who love it, who love nature. And so whatever you want to do, that is the job you will be drawn to do. So everybody will do what they love doing most. Can you imagine how that changes the energy of everything? All that food that's grown, the clothes that are made, it all has the love of the person who made it in it. And so everything will, of course, everything will be different. It'll be, drones will deliver all these things. You know, it won't be like it is now. It'll have advanced way beyond that technologically. But the moment we are switched on and our hearts and our minds are truly switched on, we can do everything that technology does now. So you don't need a plane to take you from here to there. You can take yourself. We will all be able to teleport because those are some of the basic energies and gifts and powers that they had in Atlantis, and they are all starting to come back as we raise our frequency. And so just think of almost anything. You won't need to have a telephone. You won't need your mobile in your pocket, because of course you can communicate telepathically with anybody wherever they are in the world, and that communication will be pure and true because it won't be distorted by anything. You can travel locally just by levitating and moving, because that will be just one of the simple, easy things that everybody could do. So you're not going to have the energy drains that there are on people now. Now, at the moment, if you want to go somewhere, you either have to get into a car or you get a taxi or something. With the new energies, the minute you want a car, there will be a transport available to you and it will arrive for you because you have sent out the message and the car is there for you. If you want a meal, then the meal arrives for you because you have sent out telepathically and the forces of the universe have started to create it and bring it for you. So life will be happier, much more relaxed. Everybody will feel good about themselves. Soul families will start to come together and live in community together, because when your Earth Star chakra starts to be really, really operational, then you automatically send out the energy to draw in like-minded people to you. And so people will live in clusters of people that they feel totally belonging with, happy with, on a soul frequency with. So on every level, life will have shifted. I think we talked last time about kids in schools. At the moment, the third dimensional system doesn't work. It's to put uniforms on children to create uniform children, because they want those souls to. It was originally designed, the education system, to create kids that could work in factories, and so they'd all got the right mindset for that, and they were given information that they had to learn, and that was it. But that's past. As we see now, children everywhere are refusing to go to school because it's not suitable for them. The education isn't right. So Lord Cthulhu, the world teacher in spirit, is working very hard to create programs, but individual programs for children that they go to school they're excited about, because whatever that child has brought forward in its soul, that is nurtured and brought forward for them. And so that's what they love doing. So every child is prepared for what they love doing. And so there will be, you have crystalline brain, remember, the right brain with all the energies of the right brain will then become part of the heart center, and the left brain will become a crystalline brain. So you have your own personal computer, and that is only linked in, as I said before, to the information that you need and that your soul is happy for you to have. It's all high frequency information, but information that's exciting for you, that's interesting, that makes you feel good. And every child will feel nurtured and cherished and important, because it's an individually designed program for them, along with much more community energy in schools. Children learning how to look after animals, learning about animals, who they really are, what they're here for as well. Learning to communicate with the plants, the trees, with nature. And so every child will feel loved, cherished, nurtured, and looked after, as well as stimulated for the highest good. We'll be able to affect the weather easily. Everybody will want to do that for the highest good. And so it'll be sunny when it needs to be sunny, and it'll rain overnight probably, so that every area has exactly the right amount of temperature and rain that they need. And we will be using that knowledge and information for the highest good of all. So, I mean, that's just a tiny potted version of what is happening everywhere as we move forward, and especially as we open our hearts for the new.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful overview, and also really potent, I believe, to hold these visions, because at the end of the day, we are creating our reality and the mass timelines that get created for us, future timelines. And I really wanted to open that because it anchors a vision of hope, of inspiration. And that's why I love the way you bring it through is highly optimistic. I can hear right now someone saying, Diana, this all sounds so beautiful, but also at the same time, it feels like so much of the systems that are currently in place, the 3D systems, something needs to happen to them. what have you seen is the bridge between these higher visions of humanity versus what we've experienced in the past through lower consciousness?
Well, have you noticed already how much things have changed? Yeah, there's been masses of shifts. People are thinking differently. They have different expectations now from 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Spirit tends to move much more slowly than we think. We think something's going to happen now, whereas Spirit might say 100 years, that's a flash of time. However, this is not something that's just a vision that we're creating. Of course, we are co-creating it, but it's inevitable. This is going to happen. It's really the speed with which it happens. But there are certain things that are written in stone. You know how we come into incarnation, we have had our pre-life consultation, we've decided what we're going to do. At our pre-life consultation, you've usually got your overlighting archangel, your guardian angel, your main guide, sometimes a member of your family, it depends, and you decide what your mission is and the journey you're going to go on. And that journey is from here to somewhere else, Edinburgh. And so that's going to be your train ride. But there are certain stops that are absolutely written in stone. You have to have those experiences. But for the rest of it, you can choose how you take your journey. Oh, I might get off in London and have an explore. And that's not written into your pre-life contract. But then you might have to go to this place and you are going to meet this person that changes your life as you marry them. It makes a big difference. But those are written in stone. You have to have that experience. But how you deal with all the rest of it is up to you. And so once you've gone through that and dealt with the karma, remember, this is another thing that's going to shift things a lot. Up to earlier this year, actually, it's changed very suddenly. The Lords of Karma have now, the Lords of Karma have disbanded. It was a case of whatever you did was written into your Akashic records. And then there was this record and you had to tick everything off and deal with it. And that's changed. If you are third dimensional, it still goes into the Akashic records. Otherwise, you have to deal with it at a soul level. Now, the difference is you go into your soul, you see what you've done, and you experience it with wisdom. And you start to have a complete understanding of the consequences of that. And then you can clear it totally. And so this is the difference between the way it was dealt with and the way it's now being dealt with. You can clear your soul records and your monadic records. That automatically raises your frequency so that things happen differently. So that's just one of the many things. As I said, the old education structures are no longer serving. They're going. People are not satisfied with allopathic drugs all the time. That's also starting to change. And as each of these things changes, so the frequency rises. And you asked for what the bridge was going to be. I don't necessarily think there's going to be one thing that makes the difference, but I do think that it's all changing more quickly than we realise, and people are having awarenesses. They're not prepared to deal with things as they did.
You've talked about how right now it's amazing the way that the portals to the stars are opening so that we can download the light codes that support this shift. That may be one of those bridges, etheric bridges that maybe we can't even perceive with our physical senses. But can you guide us into this process of the portals to the stars are opening and how that's bringing the light codes?
I've got portal cards coming out, celestial portal cards, not coming out until July, so it's a bit premature to talk about it. But it is incredibly exciting because You can literally connect to them and down, if you're ready, and download the light codes. Now, people don't necessarily understand what light codes are, and they're a kind of a packet of information. If you think of codes, if you think of the alphabet, and there are 26 letters. Now, if they're all jumbled up, they're meaningless. But when you learn to interpret them and learn to read, they open up a whole new world for you. And that's a packet of codes. So the light codes are the higher information coming through. And so in the cards that are coming out, there are 24 portals to different stars, which means that we can bring in those light codes and have them in our lives, and they're life-changing. They can literally move you through the dimensions very, very quickly.
Can you give us an example of one of these stars that you've been connecting to?
Andromeda, when you're ready. Venus is the higher heart, the cosmic heart of the universe. But Andromeda is a higher frequency beyond that. So you start by connecting to Venus, bringing in the light codes of love. And many people are already doing this, because people talk about visiting Venus in meditations and things. Unknowing to them, they're already starting to connect through that portal to Venus. And then beyond that, at a higher frequency, are the light codes of Andromeda. This is the higher heart. This is the much higher frequency of love. And when you bring that in, that starts to change your life even more. But you can connect with Jupiter for abundance, but also for expansion, cosmic expansion. So in the cards, I talk about the aspect of the star that we know, and then the higher aspect, the ascended aspect. It has a different name vibration, and of course there are all the symbols for each one. And just look at the symbol, and that helps you to unlock the entry to the portal.
A friend of mine, Robert Grant, he says that geometry is like a QR code for our subconscious mind. And it unlocks, when you look at a specific symbol, it unlocks something deep within your subconscious.
It's exactly right. Exactly right. Because it goes deep into you, but it also goes into the universe, into that planet or star, and brings forward the energy and allows you access. It's a key.
It is. I'm hearing this word right now that's templates. And I know that right now, especially this being a 1 year, so many new projects, so many new ideas, so many new visions are coming to the surface for a lot of people. And you've talked briefly in our last conversation, but I'd love to do a little deep dive here on the businesses that the universe supports in this new frequency, in this new energy. So when it comes to how we want to create or how we want to bring our creations to the world, what are those templates of businesses that right now the universe is supporting based on where we are in frequency?
Well, anything to do with helping humanity, so helping children or helping animals or helping old people. If your heart's in it, again, it's the heart word, and you're doing something to help, that is being supported. So if you're growing food to help people, and it's nourishing food and it's organic food, that is being supported. If you're doing something to help community, that's being supported. Anything that will help the oneness of the world to bring people together is going to be supported. Or help, say, children in schools, learning. Anything that's for the highest good, the universe is going to put their energy behind and push you forward. But if you're working for a bank, please get another job. You know, that's not part of the golden future that we are creating for ourselves right now.
What will be the role of money in the golden future?
Well, money as we know it now won't exist. Well, it's already disappearing cash. I think there will be much more exchange and swapping and doing things instead of something else. But abundance consciousness will come in. When you've got abundance consciousness, and this is also to do with the frequency that you're at, you can also start connecting with the light codes from Jupiter. That brings in abundance. But the whole planet will be living in abundance consciousness. It's a different feeling about it. So if you believe in it, then of course the universe will bring you everything that you need easily and effortlessly. We were meant to have abundance. We're born into abundance consciousness. And then you don't have to fight about money or pay for things, because everything works itself out perfectly. Abundance is a huge subject. But again, it's about opening your heart to the universe and absolutely knowing, absolutely believing that the money or the abundance, the house, the car, the whatever you need, the food, the children, whatever, will come to you because you deserve it. When you believe that, it comes. Believing is the biggest obstacle to, or not believing is the biggest obstacle to everything. If you believe that you can heal yourself, you're already whole. If you believe you can do something, you do it. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's actually interesting this, because when you were doing that music at the beginning, the great seraphim Seraphiel came in when you were doing the higher notes. I could feel my chakras opening. Whoa. And Seraphiel, who is the pale blue, carries a masculine energy, and he is overseeing the work of Metatron, if you can put it like that. Metatron, Archangel Metatron, is creating the light codes for this universe. And Seraphiel is overseeing all of that. And recently I was doing some work, and I said, now, is this going to happen immediately? And they said, no. I said, what do you mean, no? And I said, well, you don't believe it. And I thought, whoa. So I said, okay, I need help in changing my beliefs. Who can help me? And they said, Seraphiel. He will come in and he will help you if you ask him to. And I did, and everything changed. I had to believe it would happen, and then it happened. They said, you only 15% believe it at the moment. I thought, whoa, that's not very good. And so I literally worked overnight with Seraphiel, and in the morning they said, it's okay now, you believe, and it happened.
Yeah, and that's really, it comes down to this concept of our reality gets created from the inside out instead of the outside in. So the moment that you believed it, you started to have the experience.
But I didn't know I didn't believe it. I thought I believed it. And they said, no, that's my guide. No, you don't. And so I had to shift something then.
Yeah. How do we know that a belief that we're expressing is actually felt inside the body, and it actually is something that is, locked in, that is part of our reality?
Very simple. It's already happened. If you believe it, it's already happened. The minute you believe 100%, it's in your life. If you believe you deserve that particular job, it's there. If you believe you deserve
or something better,
it's there. Or something better. Absolutely. Basic laws of abundance that we keep forgetting. We ask for things, and we can have them. We can literally have them, as long as they're for the highest good, the moment we believe.
I see there's a book behind you that is all about the 33 spiritual laws. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you there. Obviously, we wouldn't have the time to go through all 33 right now, but what do you feel is the most important one for humanity to understand, especially at the time that we're in right now?
I would say, as within, so without. Absolute basic law, and that's the same about belief. Whatever you have internally is going to present itself externally. I was just thinking about this. We create everything. We attract it, make it happen, as you know. And if you're sitting in a stationary car and somebody comes and bumps into you and you blame them, whoa, you're not taking responsibility. Because if you are taking responsibility and saying, okay, something within me has attracted that to happen externally, then you can start shifting and saying, okay, was I angry about something? Oh, well, yes, perhaps I was. And knowing that that has been attracted to your anger at the moment, even though you're innocently sitting there and it wasn't your fault. It's not about fault. It's about responsibility.
And also that law of as within, so without usually comes accompanied by as above, so below. So it's, yeah, whatever happens in a cosmic level is also happening in the microcosmic level.
Absolutely.
Whatever is happening in the greater universe is happening in the micro universe as well. In the little ants, from everything. It's a pattern.
I know. It's very interesting because it makes life so fascinating. You can't blame anybody. You have to take full responsibility for everything in your life because you've created it at some level.
Back to the children. I know you've spoken about how a lot of the children that are being born right now have their 12-strand DNA already activated and online. What does that mean for the way that we're raising these children if their 12 strands are activated?
Okay, that's not quite what I said. Their 12 strands of DNA are already, but they're not always activated because the frequency around them is too low. So if you've got, and sometimes this means they present as autistic or something like that, because they can't actually bring forward all their gifts and talents. And I'm not saying all autistic children haven't got their 12 strands of DNA activated, but it is one of the factors. And so the best thing you can do for your child, obviously, is to keep the space in your home clear and high frequency as possible. It's to listen to your child so that they can express whatever they want to say. If they see a fairy, they've seen a fairy. It's just that it's not in everybody's reality because they are seeing into many dimensions that we're not seeing into. So listen to them, but most important, keep the frequency high. Because if the frequency is high, they can open themselves up and be all they can be, which at the moment is not happening for many, many children, though I think more and more. Don't tell a child, just ask a child and they'll tell you because they know so much, they're so aware. I don't know if I mentioned last time about the little girl and the unicorn. I was visiting my daughter, and as I arrived, this child ran down the road and said, I've got to speak to Isabel's granny. That was my granddaughter. I've got to speak to her granny. Anyway, she pushed herself into the house, and her mother following soon after saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. But the child said to me, I had to talk to you because you're the only person I know. I got a unicorn, and it's in my bedroom, and it gave birth to a baby unicorn. And that baby unicorn is to grow up with me and to be my unicorn. and the mother's taken it away at the moment to look after it, but it's going to come back and grow up with me and be my unicorn. Now, this was a child of about 7, and wow, I mean, how awesome. But she had to talk to me because for some reason she was clearly psychic. She knew that I would understand and be able to talk to her about unicorns and tell her how they can help her and what they do. And the moment you think about a unicorn, one is with you. People don't even realize this. And that they talk about unicorns and they scoff, but look at the consciousness shifting. Unicorn toys everywhere, unicorn t-shirts. And this is part of the shift in consciousness, because as soon as you see a unicorn and see it on somebody's t-shirt, mention it, think about it, your unicorn is with you. And they hold your frequency high. They touch your heart and help you open it. They touch your mind and help to expand your consciousness. They can shift us in so many ways.
Yet normally what we would have thought as mythological creatures are actually beings in the angelic kingdom.
Absolutely.
That can make appearances and bleed throughs into our reality for those that have the perception to see them.
But you know, even for those who don't, they're still trying to help us. I think I might have mentioned before about this woman I saw with a child in a pram, and the child dropped her unicorn toy over, and the mother picked it up and said, "Here's your unicorn." And as soon as she said that, I saw this flash of white light coming to them, and I thought, she's called in her unicorn without even consciously being aware that she's done so. Amazing.
The soul is conscious, right? The soul knows.
Of course. But at another level, they're not, and yet they're receiving help from that unicorn. It's amazing what is happening all the time.
In what ways will the future of humanity include interstellar travel, intergalactic communication? What have you received around that aspect?
I don't even think we have to travel. Many people go in their sleep time to other stars and planets, and they're traveling out of their physical bodies. If you're talking about traveling in your physical body in a spaceship. Now, the last spaceship that was sent out on a mission was called the Challenger. And I was told by my guide that the reason that blew up and the project failed was because they were challenging the universe. It was the energy with which they were going out. The minute that humanity wants to explore space in honor of the Creator, in wonder and awe at the magic of creation, then the spacecraft will go out and people will be able to go and explore. But we have to change our attitude before it can be successful.
They should have named it Trust and Surrender or something like that.
And then they'd have had to have that consciousness, but yes, then it would have worked. And it soon will. People are shifting. And when enough people change, then they'll go. It just is awesome. Do you mind me mentioning where you come from? Do you know where you come from?
I'm open to hearing your reflection.
Okay. Well, this is what my guide said, and I asked for permission to ask, and he said, "No, you come from Arcturus." And of course, the beings from Arcturus, they are bringing in the new spiritual technology. They're the healers. They're bringing in actual technology. They're the teachers, bringing in the new energy for the world, which is interesting. But you stepped in. Until 2012, anyone who came to Earth to incarnate had to step down through, Transformers, one of 4 planets. So there was Sirius, Orion, the Pleiades or Neptune. And you apparently stepped down through Orion. I don't know if that rings a bell with you. You're wearing white. Orion is white. It's the plane of wisdom. People from all over the universes come to Orion to receive wisdom. And you stepped down and had your training there for this incarnation in Orion. But, of course, bringing all the energy from Arcturus to spread into this world. And from what I've seen of you, the little bit I've seen of you, that felt so very, very correct.
What was the training about in Orion?
Well, the training is all about wisdom, and so it's seeing everything from a higher perspective. That's what people go to Orion for. So they see they're at the top of the mountain. They see with enlightened eyes, and that's the training you receive in Orion. Not to just see everything at its face value, but to look at it from a divine perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us listening are also remembering each other from those other multidimensional
Absolutely.
galactic timelines.
Yeah, absolutely.
What can you tell us about the triple ascension flames?
Okay, well, an ascension flame is a flame carried by a great ascended master or an angelic being that carries certain qualities, their qualities. So, for example, if you had a flame from Orion, it would be white, and I think it's, if I'm right in remembering, it's got a golden center, and then that carries the wisdom energy to help whoever it's placed over to see things from another perspective with wisdom. Now, if you have one ascension flame placed over you, it's very powerful, very beautiful, and can change you. But if you have three, so you have triple ascension flames, then the three go over you together, and you have all that energy, because it's much more than if you have one, it's much more than if you have three. It's multiplied, and so that's what makes it so powerful. So you could have the flame of love, and you might have, say, the angel Mary with a being from Andromeda, with a Christed flame, bringing in the energy of the Christ light all over you at the same time. And wow, that shifts you. That really is powerful.
Are you able to guide us today into calling in those ascension flames for all our listeners, everyone that's tuning in, everyone that is open to receive those ascension flames?
Well, of course. Would you like me to do it now?
I would love that.
Would you like a flame of love?
Let's do it.
Okay. So just close your eyes and open yourself up to receive triple ascension flames of love. And be aware of the great angel Mary coming in now, and she's in white. That's her very highest frequency. She may be in blue, but for most of you she's coming in purest white, and she is carrying a huge flame. She's holding it up aloft. She's standing in front of you now. Be aware of her, and she's looking into your eyes with love, absolute love. And she is placing the flame above you and bringing it right down over you. Right down until you are standing in the flame. It's filling your aura, and it's remaining there as she steps away. And now, Archangel Mariel, the angel of higher love, is standing in front of you, and she is holding a flame of beautiful violet pink light. And in the center of the flame there's a golden light full of the wisdom of love. And you may have a sense of this flame full of beautiful light codes of love that will open you up to see the very best in all things. She asks if you are ready to receive. Just make sure you are open to receive as she brings this flame of higher love down over you. Violet pink. And now Jesus, the bringer of cosmic love, is carrying the Christ light. And the Christ light that he's bringing is the gold ray of Christ, and it's mixed with the white ray of Christ. And he's placing the flame in front of you. It's huge. It's enormous, much, much taller than you are. It is full of source love. And he invites you now to step into the flame. White and gold. Breathe it in. And now be aware that you're standing in Mary's flame, Archangel Mariel's flame, and Jesus' flame of Christ light. It's opening you up at a cellular level. It's bathing your cells with light and love. You may have a sense of old energies just dissolving or draining away into the earth. And your heart becoming brighter and expanding and radiating out. And as you radiate out this love, be aware of love coming to you from people, from animals, from nature. And then hold that energy in your aura. Know that it will continue just to permeate into your body. And then thank them. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Wow.
Did you feel it?
I'm feeling a lot of love right now. Thank you, Diana, for guiding us through that. That was very special. And that's something that you can always come back to whenever you feel the need. So thank you for leaving that as like a time capsule, right, in this transmission. Well, now with that feeling of overflowing love, I would like to bring us into the segment of the podcast we call the Final Trio, which are a segment of last questions that we like to ask, personalized to each guest to really integrate everything that we talked about today. Before going to that, I would love to ask you, where would you send people to connect with you, with your work, everything that you have going on right now in your Diana Cooper universe? Where would you send people to that?
Well, my website is dianacooper.com.
Beautiful.
So it's very easy to find. It's absolutely packed with information so that you can read it to your heart's content and do exercises and really expand and grow through what you find in there. It also recently shared my story, my adventures of how I first met the unicorns, first met the dragons, the elementals, what happened to me, and how it's changed my life and taken me on a long journey, but has been increasingly exciting.
Is there one of those stories that is the nearest and dearest to your heart that you might want to synthesize and summarize here today?
Okay, now this is one that might make people think, oh my goodness. But you know, we are all connected to the elementals and the nature world. And I was living somewhere a few years ago, and I used to walk in the woods. And one day, out in front of me stepped a goblin. I'd never seen a goblin before. And I understand now that they are fifth dimensional beings, elemental beings with wide open hearts. And as I stepped out, he opened his arms and this white light shot into my heart. And I said, oh, who are you? And we had a conversation, and I said to him, it sounds stupid now. Well, what do you think about people? And he looked at me very oddly and said, well, we're all the same, but we're different. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Anyway, he told me his name was Goblino. And then I moved somewhere else, then I moved again. And one day recently, I was in this cluster of trees, and I was just going in when there was another goblin who told me his name was Malcolm. And I said to him, don't suppose you know Goblino, who was the first goblin, do you? And he said, Goblino? I know Goblino. Do you know him? I said, oh, yes, he used to be a friend of mine. And he said, oh, he's in charge of all the elementals in the south of the country. I said, oh, that's amazing. So he said, would you like to talk to him? So I said, yeah, I'd love to. And he said, I'll connect you through the tree root network.
Oh.
And in a second, I heard, hello, Diana, how are you? I've often thought about you. Hello, Goblino. And we had a conversation through the tree root network. Now we know, scientists tell us that, of course, the trees communicate through the tree root network. Mm-hmm. But there I am, standing out in the open, having a conversation with a goblin through the tree root network. Now, that was just such fun. I smiled all the way home.
Wow. It's crazy because one of my favorite movies is Avatar, especially the first one. And I'm just looking up, there's a moment where the Dr. Grace Augustine, she highlights that there was this profound biological connection in Pandora, which is their planet's flora. And she says, what we think we know, I just pulled up the quote, what we think we know is that there is some kind of electrochemical communication between the root of the trees. It's a network, a global network. She emphasizes the wealth of this world isn't in the ground, it's all around us. So there it is.
Well, I experienced it on that day for myself, which was very interesting.
Yeah, truth
fun.
hidden
You can't
in
just
plain
tell
sight.
anybody, but
Wow.
but it's interesting.
I mean, the planet around that we are on is super conscious. intelligent, alive, breathing. So thank you for bringing that story, because it's important to see our natural world in that way.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Diana, so for the final trio, these questions are all personalized to the guest. And the first one I had for you today is really around what you've received, around the golden future.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to describe in vivid detail the most beautiful scene that you've received from your guides around the coming years where humanity is headed, what would that picture look like?
It would look like a beautiful, beautiful park with people in a cluster here painting and people in a group. It's very much about group consciousness. People over there singing, people over here all playing a game together, somebody over there all playing football, and all being open, happy, welcoming, social. And that is the big message for me about how our hearts are open and we're just so inclusive and doing what we love to do.
Beautiful. Imagine a child being born in the golden age who will one day help guide humanity.
Mm-hmm.
What single truth about life would you want them to remember?
You create your reality and you do it with every single thought that you have. And when you think from your heart, then you create magic. You are so powerful.
Beautiful. Think from your heart. I love that. Diana, if the angels could give humanity one piece of guidance right now to help us navigate the next 5 years, what would it be?
Hold the vision. Just literally hold the vision. One person has the power to change thousands of people. Now, if you're holding the light, that light can be seen for miles. Keep holding it.
Beautiful. Diana Cooper, I just wanted to end by saying and extending a wave of love toward you and acknowledgement for the work that you do, your devotion to humanity. I think it was 35 books in 35 years or something like that. It just shows how committed you are to this path and helping evolve humanity to our next iteration, our next metamorphosis. And we're all here with you and wanted to just extend my own gratitude for you and your presence in my journey. Things that you told me before we started recording about my personal soul's journey that I really take to heart and appreciate. So thank you for being who you are, and I'm excited to continue our conversations in the years to come.
That would be lovely.
Of course. Until next time.
You know.